those impressions in your brain convert. And the companies that have the biggest heart, not the biggest wallet, are going to be the companies that win. I'm going to leave you with this because I want to go into Q&A because I've been up here and I'd love to answer very direct, specific questions if anybody's got any. I was in a meeting with a very conservative company and they asked me, what's the ROI of social media? And I gave them my best stuff. All my guns blazing. I started with, prove the ROI of your thing, right? Because television and print and radio and all those, they don't, Nielsen ratings, really? Sending surveys to people to say what show they watched, that's the real data? Social media has dramatically more real data than traditional. So I did that. That didn't work. Then I asked them and told them, well, it's about engagement, social impressions, because that's really what I believe. You know, how many people liked or commented on our stuff, went into newsfeed. The reason you guys see your friends engaging with something is because that post did well. Now you're getting hit by it. That's forced word of mouth. Those things, that dynamic, what I call reverse SEO. Instead of SEO, it's going to be the reverse. Not you going and looking for it, but it coming to you, right? So that kind of stuff. And I brought out numbers and all this stuff. But this CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, she didn't want to hear it. She works in a conservative company, and she knows if she wants to be the CEO, she has to be data-driven, like what tried and true. So she's really pushing me. And she's like, what's the ROI of social? What's the ROI of social? She's pounding me. And finally, I just looked at her in a room of 8 executives and said, what's the ROI of your mother? Now, I was not making a mother joke. I wasn't trying to upset her. I was actually asking her what the ROI of her mother was. I want you to sit and think about what the ROI of your mother is, because for me, it's all of it. The reason I stand in front of you today is because of the way my mom parented me. But I can't stand here and show you on a PowerPoint. Here in 5th grade, when I got a mullet and my mom said I was handsome, that allowed me to sell more baseball cards because I had more self-confidence and self-esteem, which then told me how to learn about business that led to it. I can't show you the data of the ROI of my mother, but I can promise you I am going to buy the New York Jets because of the ROI of my mother. And so sometimes, especially when it's EQ, sometimes you can't put every freaking number on it. But anybody that's sitting in this auditorium as we head into 2012 that doesn't realize that the world is fundamentally changing and the way we consume it and interact has been disrupted in such a way it's ridiculous, that this is the biggest shift since the printing press, that it is a completely different game and the way we spend our money is going to be affected on it is dead. They're out. And so I implore you to realize this stuff has a much bigger impact. It's an absolute game changer. And I truly, truly hope that you don't just use it to pick up chicks, that you use it to make some cash, because cash is cool. Thank you.
Reverse search and the micro content is the micro reputational era too. So is search dead? Is that the new trend in on the internet? Is Google done? Is it irrelevant?
So, no? Oh, good. Hey, good shit up there. Search is not dead. It's massively dented. See, how many people here have been in business where they've either bought SEO consulting or have done SEO consulting? Raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, good. So you have some context for this. It was super important. I mean, it was a new trend. I would have given this exact talk about SEO 10 years ago, right? I would have stood up here and said, you don't think people are going to go to Google and search? You're going to go to your yellow pages? And then, you know, like, it was the same talk. It's all about evolution. Damn. It's all about evolution, right? So, dudes, I just gave you fucking daps and now this shit's not working. So, it's always going to change. I do believe, how many people here, there's actually a good amount. How many people here have tweeted or Facebooked a question that if in their mind, if they thought for 1 second right now, they might have done a search 4 or 5 years ago? Raise your hands. All right, so I mean, you know, it's probably about 30, 40%. I think that continues to grow. I think our social graph, I know that anybody connected to me, it's the Kevin Bacon rule. I think there's going to be, if you play it out, I think ultimately you're going to be able to search something and it's literally going to tell you how, almost like in a LinkedIn way, you'll start typing something, and almost maybe even as you're typing, maybe on your phone, or now that we're going to be coming out with the, you know, computer screens and that are like in the air, so there won't be hardware. Like, it's coming. some weird, listen, we're all gonna be fucking robots. They're gonna win and it's gonna suck shit, but none of us are gonna see it. Anyway, so we're gonna type it on air or whatever you're typing something, it's gonna tell you, listen, you wanna know about Chardonnay? Your friend Paul is connected to Gary Vaynerchuk, who's considered one of the experts in the world on wine. You should ask him. So I think it's gonna be super about your social graph and the context, and I think it's gonna change our habits dramatically, because you're gonna trust somebody who's your friend's friend dramatically more than somebody who SEO, black hat, got to the first result. I've been using Google from the beginning. It's not as good as it used to be. Google 2000, first search, first result, it's what you were looking for. It worked. Now people have gamed it and ads and all, it's changed. It's Google Plus and Google Wave before it, and the reason you heard that Google, which is true, tried to buy Twitter, social search is gonna be a huge game, huge. And Google, now the real shit that I'm paying attention to is Siri, right? So Siri on the iPhone feels like a search engine in the making. I think this is gonna end up being Apple's search play, right? Because now I'm like, Siri, I have a cold. And Siri's like, no problem, here's that was the worst fucking Siri impression. So I think Apple's making a play. I think it's gonna be voice activated. I think there's a lot coming, because now when I do the Siri stuff, it sends me to Google. It's gonna be very easy for it to send to something else. So I think we're in a very interesting time. You heard rumors before Jobs really health disintegrated that there were some conversations about Apple buying Twitter, which never really crossed my mind. I think Microsoft should buy Twitter because they've already got a deal with Facebook and they could make Bing. Google comes out and says social search is the future. Microsoft can buy Twitter and along with Facebook be the social search engine. So I think we're in very high stakes times. I think everybody here is gonna wake up one morning and hear that Twitter sold for 25 billion and be like, why? That's gonna be why. Because there's an enormous amount of money in converting locally or when you need it, and all this stuff is conversing. Sure. Anybody else? Oh, you're getting your workout. Oh, is she not on? Is there only one on at a time? Hey, thanks, man, for coming. Appreciate it, man. You like that? It's good, right? Now it feels like shit, right? Hello?
We'll relay it here.
Okay.
1, 2, oh wait, now it's working. There you go.
And then am I off? Oh no, we're both on.
Do you still feel like the blogging is the first step to communicating with people? In your Crush It book, you said the blog was kind of the workhorse of the whole thing.
Yeah, I still think that if you've got a voice, if you're trying to build your brand, I think everybody needs a home. I think maybe the Facebook fan page and the way Google Plus is evolving could evolve into a home, so I'm paying attention to that carefully, but I still feel very comfortable that everybody needs a home. And, I look at Twitter like a cocktail party, right? Everybody's just talking, a lot of conversation. I look at Facebook more as your home in the way that you do it more private, right? But I think if you're a business, you need a store. And I think a blog does that. However, there's some interesting stuff that I think is going on with Google Plus that you could put your content there, and I would debate that that could have some serious value. So I'm kind of looking at Google Plus more and more as a blogging platform.
Other questions? Now that we have 2 microphones working? Anybody? Well, let's hear it for Gary Vaynerchuk.
Thank you, guys.